One of, if not the most overpowered and satisfying build that exists in Elden Ring is a build centered around the stance break and riposte system, and I wanted to prove to you and myself just how good it is. The problem wasn't finding a suitable character for this build, but thankfully, upon seeing a million I'm literally him memes with Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman on my TikToks For You page, the solution came pretty quickly.
Hey Margit.
The stance break sound, I mean, this one. It just does something to me. I don't know what it is though, it's super satisfying. Anyways, the rules I've set myself for this run were: I needed to beat all of the Shardbearer bosses, I was only allowed to use weapons that Patrick Bateman would realistically use, so axes, chainsaws, etc. I was only allowed to level up my strength stat, and I could not use any summons. If you're a fan of video game challenge run videos, I think you would be interested in this video right here. But if you're an Elden Ring cosplay run enthusiast, I'd say this video is right for you. I'm really proud of how these videos turned out, I always pour my heart and soul into them, so I would really appreciate it if you check them out. Okay, enough with the rambling, with the intro out of the way.
Let's get to it.
It seems that my attempts at recreating Christian Bale resulted in me creating German instead. Oh well, it's not like I didn't try.
But even after admitting this, there is no catharsis. My punishment continues to elude me, and I gain no deeper knowledge of myself.
One of the great things about this build is that most if not all of the things you need for it, like talismans, physic flask tiers, and weapons, are all available in the early game, and that's what my first hour of setup was occupied by. I made a quick stop at Caelid to rob the Knight's Cavalry of all of its money, and invest all of it into strength, after which I continued along my path of collecting everything required for the build. I purchased my first axe weapon that I would use for a little bit before getting a better one. With it, I was able to get the first smithing stone bell bearing and farm for the previously mentioned better axe, which is dropped by these skeleton guys in this location. After farming for a bit, it finally dropped and I went over to the round table to upgrade it as much as I could. With about an hour or so of prep time, I went over to complete the Stormvale Castle Legacy dungeon, but first, I had to go through Margit. Remember how I said that you can be OP with this build early? Yeah, this fight proved it. After completing Stormvale Castle, I talked to Gostok to buy some clothes from him, cause, well, we can't be running around naked, right? I mean, we can, but still.
A tarnished here. Thou must have some business in mind to come all this way.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Intriguing.
With Renala out of the way, I went over to complete Rainie's questline, and the sole reason for that was because of a piece of clothing that you can get for progressing through the quest, and the first task on the list was to defeat Radahn. after Radon was dealt with, I went to Nokron where I encountered an imposter, and only one of us would leave the arena alive. Yeah, that was pretty one-sided. So I got the Finger Slayer blade, and as soon as you deliver it to Runny, Celebus dies and we can loot his body to get the Preceptor's gown, which, once altered, looks like a pretty convincing business suit. With the drip secured, I went over to the capital, defeated the tree sentinel guarding it, and started progressing through Lane Dell. With the capital finished, Melina gave me the Mountaintops medallion, and the first stop I made was at the first Smithing Stone bell bearing, and before moving over to the Fire Giant, I decided to go ahead and defeat Rykard first, and for that, I got the incantation from Raya, got transported to the Volcano Manor, and the first thing I did was get a weapon from Inquisitor Giza, which looks suspiciously a lot like a chainsaw. I would then upgrade it and grab a few more talismans and physic tiers in preparation for Rykard's boss fight. What you're looking at right now is 2 hours worth of suffering. My initial plan was to get as many health overtime items as possible to try and negate the effects of lava damaging you, but the damage was a bit too high. Besides that, the damage from lava makes the player flinch, cancelling some moves like attacks and healing, making the fight more difficult than it already was. On top of that, in both the Serpent and Lord of Blasphemy phases, Rykard can just make a jump attack which would just kill me in one hit, as it was just too difficult to dodge. But nevertheless, with a large amount of luck, I was able to beat Rykard's first phase, only to get absolutely bodied in the second phase. Mind you, this is possible to do, but just with a larger health pool and better armor perhaps, so for now, the Serpent Hunter would have to do the job it was intended to do. With Rykard done and dusted, I went over to Castle Sol, as I would soon need the Halig Tree Medallion to get to 2 endgame spots, the Halig Tree and Mulgrim Palace. Command Denial was in our way, but just like many a boss before him, he was no match for Patrick Bateman's raw, Giga Chad energy. After getting both halves of the medallion, I finally went over to fight the Fire Giant. With Fire Missoula open to exploration, I grabbed the sleep pot recipe and started the Godskin duo fight. The smithing stone bell bearing number 4 was in my possession, and with it I finally was able to upgrade my weapon to plus 25, got the ritual sword talisman for the extra 10% damage at full health, but since I was dying in one hit anyway, it just meant that I had 10% extra damage in general, so time to finish Fire Missoula. With Malekith defeated, I was done leveling my strength up to 99, absolutely embarrassed Gideon, and finished the capital of Ash by facing off against Godfrey. I had a couple of bosses left unattended which I needed to fix, and first off I got the stamina talisman, which was somewhat helpful but not really, as its stamina boost was pretty insignificant in the long run. Okay, two of the most powerful late game bosses, Moog and Malenia. Let's see how they do against this build.
I am Malenia, Blade of Mikola. And I have never known.
You're a fucking ugly bitch!
Yeah, that went pretty much as I thought it would. Okay, final boss time. With Radagon and the Elden beast defeated, I finished Elden Ring with 2 million extra runes in my pocket, and Patrick Bateman ascended to the throne of the lands between.
I have all the characteristics of a human being. Flesh, blood, skin, hair. But not a single clear, identifiable emotion.
I gotta say, this build went above and beyond my wildest expectations. It's so overpowered it's not even funny. All you really need is a couple of decent openings from a boss to be able to absolutely decimate them. I was planning to make a follow-up video to my free good builds for the DLC, in which I wanted to feature this build, so if you'd be interested in seeing this build get more fleshed out, do drop a comment down below. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, have a good one, peace.